What's going on, film fans? Welcome back to our channel, The Usual Skeptics. Here we talk about movie reviews, entertainment news, streaming, fandom-related content, all that sorts of good stuff. We are here again to talk The Boys Episode 4 spoiler discussion with Wes and I. Speaking of, Wes, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing all right, man. That episode was pretty epic, so I'm anxious to see your thoughts or hear your thoughts. So,
Ooh, yeah, it was a doozy. Can't wait. Okay, so again, if what I said earlier did not make it any more abundantly clear, this is going to be a spoiler discussion as always. It's now Sunday evening, so if you haven't seen it by now, you know, what are you doing? Everybody needs some Amazon Prime's The Boys in your life. It'll make your life a lot happier. Okay, let's not waste any more time here. So you and I literally, I was out of town, so I didn't watch it Friday. I was a little behind. You were a little busy this weekend. You just got a chance to watch it just before we joined up here in our
oh yeah, man,
here online. So we didn't talk about it. We just said, "Hey, did you finish the episode?" I think I texted you and said WTF. That was it. And you said, "Shut up. I got 15 minutes left. Let me finish."
I was like, this dude, if he ruins the ending, I'm gonna.
Oh, no. I would never do that. I just assumed he watched it already. So I'm still collecting my thoughts on this, but normally I would shoot it to you and see what you think. I have a couple things just quickly I just want to talk about. Just right
Sweet.
Right
Do
here.
it.
Homelander. How are you able to make a character that you just continuously dislike? You love the character. Obviously, you're not supposed to like him. You're supposed to hate what he's doing. It's kind of like Darth Vader, right? Committed mass genocide among all the good people. And you're like, yeah, Vader's so cool. Everybody's got screenshots on their phones. Homelander's the same thing. Homelander is slowly becoming one of the greatest, if not the greatest antagonist / villain, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna say it on streaming TV shows and movies. I mean, Homelander is the way they write this character. By the way, such a standout for me in this episode. Homelander, I had two elements that were the standout for me. And I'll talk about the other one in a minute. But Wes, I want to hear your thoughts here in just a second. But Homelander, I just want to get this out of the way. Homelander, the way, dude, when he walks, there's so much to unpack here. Okay, so I'm trying to collect my thoughts. So the scene where Huey and Starlight sitting there talking, and they're kind of going over that video of the Homelight or Starlander, whatever they were calling each other. I ship them. When you hear Homelander, hey, what's going on, guys? Like my chest, dude, I'm not playing. My chest was like, what's gonna happen? Because we forget, and you hear subtle dialogue every now and then. We've already heard it several times in these first 4 episodes, but you hear, hey, careful, you don't want Homelander to hear you. Hey, careful. But you're like, you know, miles away, or maybe the other side of the vault building or whatever, right? And you're like, but when he shows up, and this was several times throughout this episode, once he shows up, you're like, oh my God. I don't know. Did you have that same feeling?
It's the unpredictability.
Yes.
Of not knowing.
Yes.
What he's gonna do, or what he's
have no idea.
Of. You have no clue, and that's the brilliancy of this character and how they're writing him and how that he's portraying it as an actor. I mean, it's
all the script,
nuts, that's the whole thing, man. Yep. Like, because it's the unpredictability of you not knowing what's gonna hapen next.
You have no idea.
I love it. Like,
I do too. That's what I'm saying, is that this show, now usually you and me, we can kind of pick out, okay, you know, as big as film buffs we are, you know, we go in and we're like, okay, yeah, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. And dude, let's go ahead and get out of the way. When Sonic Driver, whenever he showed up in the first episode? I can't remember.
You mean
what's his name?
Supersonic?
Supersonic. Thank you.
Dude. Gosh, somebody.
Listen. I turned and looked at my
notes, son. I know that you're excited, but take your notes, son.
Listen. I turned around to my wife tonight. We're watching the episode, and the Sonic boy pops up. I can't remember his name. Supersonic. He pops up, and he's talking to Starlight, and she's like, you know, you're such a nice guy. Right before that, though, I looked at my wife and I was like, he's just such a nice guy. Like, you want to think he's a dick, or any kind of jerk whatsoever, but he's actually a pretty good guy. And then her next thought to me was, he's dead by the end of the season. And
bro,
you know, by the
already. I was like, oh, that dude's dying.
And I think we talked about that in our first 3 episode spoiler discussion. Once he popped up and the things and then, dude, we're going to be bouncing around here a bit. By the way, we're not going to go, you know, scene 1, scene 2. There's a lot. I think this is the most riveting of the episode so far. I think this is the most like character. I don't know if I'm ready to call it the most character driven, like centric type of episode, if that makes sense. But you got a lot from a lot of characters: Homelander, Starlight, Huey, Butcher. I mean, from everybody, Marvin, dude, that was my so earlier I said there was 2 elements that stood out to me.
Yeah, let's
Homelander.
hold off on that. Let's hold off.
Okay, let's hold off on Kimiko. Okay.
Yeah, there's also the element where we finally get to see Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which was unexpected. Oh, and like another thing that I want to talk about, like here's my one thing that I want to praise the boys for doing, is continually finding ways to kill people. I love the different ways that they find to kill people. It intrigues me because I'm like, oh man, I was like, what are they going to think of next? Because I'm like, you've done everything. Nope, obviously not. Let's go kill somebody with a massager. We'll just call them massagers.
Oh my God.
We all know what it was.
We know what it was.
Let's go kill somebody.
We want to try and, you know, stay as
yeah. Let's kill somebody with multiple massagers.
Multiple
adult massagers. We'll go there. Oh
my God.
So it was, and Kimiko doing it. Oh,
dude, it had to be
so great. It was so great.
And you're right.
I was just like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This shit is so good. I love it, bro. I was like, the whole time I was just sitting in here, I was like, I was literally in my chair, like, because I got the dad chair, you know, and I'm just like,
oh yeah.
I was like, bro, I love this show. Like, I was laughing the whole time, just like, I love this show.
as soon as I seen those, you know, because he opens up the thing, and I want to talk more about Kimiko here in a second, but when that guy opens up the thing, the thought, dude, to me, the boys has me so wrapped up in the narrative and has me so, I know this is going to sound like contradictory to what I'm about to say, but even though I'm so invested in the show and trying to pick apart every single thing, you're right. You never know what happens. You never know what's going to come out. But when he opens the thing and you see his little 7 inspired adult toys, his collection, the thought never crossed my mind. Oh, Kimiko's going to use that. It never crossed my mind. And maybe I was right. But
it immediately crossed my mind. I was
Did
like,
it?
Oh yeah. I was like,
she's going to use it.
I was like, he's going to kill him with one.
Because we all knew why she was there.
I thought, but see, I didn't know which one, you know, he would. Did you know who she killed him with though? First,
was it Black Noir? Was it Black Noir's? Yeah,
bro,
had to be.
Great. Yeah, because Starlight.
Yeah.
Starlight was the last one. Like,
oh my God, that was funny. Me and my wife both laughed out loud because that was a fun little added detail.
So funny, man.
Great scene. You done highlighted Kimiko again. Want to talk about that here in a second. One thing I want to touch on, and I didn't really think about this until right at the end of the episode. You know how our first video on the boys, because they dropped all 3 episodes at once, you and me talked about a little bit of our nitpicks. I'm gonna be on 2 things. Number 1, no nitpicks in this episode for me. None. I loved every single. It never missed a beat. It was like there were like fast paced scenes, like with Kimiko. There was slower paced scenes, like getting to Russia and all that kind of stuff. There was, but it had Homelander. Great. We'll talk about that conversation here in a minute. But the pacing, the cadence, even though it was faster paced at times or slower paced, it kept a cadence to it and a rhythm that just made it work. Like it almost felt like a roller coaster, but in a good way. Normally you don't want a roller coaster in a narrative. You want to keep it consistent. I'm not gonna say the boys doesn't have conflicting tones, because it don't, but what they were able to do in this episode, if you can tell, my favorite episode so far is it's able to give you those fast paced scenes. And when you can do that, not only do you have a great editor, but you got a fantastic director. And I need to pay more attention to the credits because I want to know who's directing these episodes, because whoever done this episode was fantastic. And who knows, maybe they directed several episodes for all I know. I don't know. But a lot of times in TV shows, there's, different directors that come in. It's not like a movie, right? So a lot of different, directors come in with each episode. So I honestly don't know. But the direction, the music, the pacing, the cadence, everything, it was riveting. This was such a fantastic episode. But one thing I want to talk about, saying all that to say this, one of my negatives in the first 3 episodes was they kept giving that weird, I'm not going to say it's weird, I'm not going to say it wasn't needed, but and you and me talked about this. It was A-Train's little subplot, like where he's wanting to take out Blue Hawk. And I'm like, remember I told you, I was like, I don't like, it felt like it kind of slowed the whole narrative down of the overall episodes. I didn't feel that at all this episode. Because they bring it back up, right? Remember when A-Train is talking to Ashley and she's like, just don't bring that up. And then in the middle of it, I think they're setting something up there. And dude,
I do too.
So I'm going to walk myself back on that comment because I think that they were planting seeds of what needed to happen in this episode. I'm not going to say it was the,
that's what we talked about before, though. We talked about that that was our nitpick for those episodes. But
we also said, hey,
we said if they bring it back and we actually have a storyline with it, then we'd be okay with it. So we ain't got a rebuttal on that. I mean, we just it's like, okay, cool, let's do it. So,
but in this episode, everything. That's what I'm talking about. Like they did this, they brought in the same subplot, but in this episode, it worked because they had already planted those seeds in the first 3 episodes.
But this episode, we also find out, talking about the whole A-Train thing, is that A-Train and the Deep are both just complete a-holes, bro. Legit. Like you find out. I mean, it's like, okay, so you're gonna sit here and fight with the Deep about him, say, I'm gonna tell him that you were the one who gave Maeve the video. That you swam to the bottom of the Atlantic and got the video from Maeve, right?
Maeve.
So we finally figured that out, right?
There was a lot of information in that dialogue, but that dialogue was not going to happen if we didn't have that whole thing about Blue Hawk and all that. See what I'm saying? Like it came to fruition. I'm so glad you mentioned that because I completely.
Now
so
he's like, okay, if he's going to sit here and he's going to do this, just to be, up Homelander, so Homelander does what he wants, and he's on Homelander's good side, then I'm gonna do something like tell on Supersonic and his whole plot that he's got with Starlight and Huey and everyone else.
I'm gonna take the Deep's place.
And I'm gonna take the Deep's place to where he can go for my plot line that he's got.
Right.
And I'm saying plot line, but we all know it's for Blue Hawk and all that. But but he's trying to do that to kind of get behind the Deep's back just so he can
but you've already touched on that.
His injustice.
I mean,
now,
So
you're fine. Now with A-Train's whole thing, I mean, it is real life, I'm half black and I'm not gonna get into politics or anything like that, but this whole BLM, Black Lives Matter whole thing, I mean, they're bringing that in to the boys.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? They're bringing in real life situations where it's like people are trying to take things into their own hands. And now A-Train's trying to do something and stand up because his brother wanted him to. Now I understand the whole
for sure
plot line thing, you know what I mean? And I really did like the commercial that he did.
That was I laughed because we knew when he gave that
for sure.
And I'm just like, it's an ad.
But it's
so funny.
As soon as she was drinking one of those, I was like, oh, it's an ad. I get it. But
the music,
at the same time, that's stuff that's happening in real life, and we see it every day. You know what I mean?
Every day.
It's one of those things where, I love the way they've written it, but at the same time, you're just like, God, these people are
geniuses.
The worst. They're the worst. I'm just saying, the characters.
Right. The characters. Yeah.
as in like A Train and the Deep
Right.
and Homelander. I'm like, man, they're the worst.
They're
But it's such good
terrible.
writing. Like you
Yeah.
just you
You
love it.
care. You
It's like,
care.
oh man, that because whenever he took her up and he said, "Oh, it's gonna be mind blowing,"
Bruh.
I
Bruh.
thought. Here's what I thought. I thought that the uh, uh the chairman or whatever her name is, I can't remember,
Oh,
and I'm too like hyper to talk about it. Anyway, the lady who can blow up heads and stuff like that.
Victoria, Layla, her real name. Is it
Yeah,
Layla?
I
Okay, yeah.
thought that she was going to be up there, and I was like, because you text me WTF,
Was
and I
that
was
at that
like,
moment?
and I was like,
Wait, don't say that.
I was like, they're gonna kill Starlight because I thought that she would be waiting up there, and then like,
Make her do it
and
or something.
I was like, this dude just ruined my ending. I was like, I was like, I ain't doing this podcast no more. I ain't doing this
I
no
would never do
more.
that. No.
So no, you wouldn't have meant to because you didn't say anything after that. So then I
True.
was just up there and like my heart was pounding. I was like,
Because
oh
you're like,
God.
nope.
And then and then as soon as it turned to him, I was like, oh, what? I was like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, how did he find out? And then I was like, oh my God, like how did he get this much information? Because and then I was like, oh, A Train. And then
stabbed him in the back.
I know that. I
Again,
know.
bringing
Well, he
it
says
back.
that. He said that
Yeah.
later.
Right.
But then, after that, when like he's talking to that woman, and you see him give her something, and he gives her stuff in return that's
Yes.
from Stan's office. It's
Yep.
like, how did he know about all this? And I'm like, I was like, I bet A Train gave away all that stuff. Or did they make a deal beforehand? I couldn't really understand that.
And
Because,
I think that information is going to come out. I think they're trying to keep us guessing, like you're thinking, and
right.
like I was going to bring that up too about the whole, because she's like, "Look, can we make this quick?" And then Homelander gives her that, what does he call it, a recipe or whatever, and then she's giving it to her daughter. And I do want to touch on.
He said all 27 herbs.
He's so like, oh, Anthony Starr is great. By the way, I just found out who's British. By the way, I think he's British.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. It was some kind of what kind of interview was it with him, the guy that plays A Train? I think his name's something.
By the way, guys.
But
also we figured out this weekend that number 4 is coming. So I'm so stoked. I'm like, yeah, they have to make another season of it.
They have to.
Great.
Yeah, season. They announced this weekend season 4 got picked up. Oh, fantastic, and so worth it. But you mentioned that A Train thing, and I want to bring back and thank God like A Train's back in, because I thought he was great in season 1. He kind of took a little bit of a backseat in season 2, but I'm glad that he's he's climbing up again. They're making the character more prominent this at least for now.
Yeah.
But you brought up a really good point, and I think people are going to overlook that scene between the Deep and A Train, because during that, when they're in the hallway and they're talking to each other, and they got each other like kind of whisper in the ear, like blah 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 blah. There's a lot of information that come out of that. A lot of dialogue.
If you didn't hear that, like if you weren't paying attention,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because I turned to my wife and I was like, "Wait, what?" And it almost made me want to rewind and make sure I didn't miss anything else, because it was like. It would have been different if it was one like crucial line, because then we would be like, there's some details. But there was like, I would say 3 or 4 really important. Now, who's to say they're not lying? But I don't think they are, because they butted heads there in the hallway.
Because they were fighting
at
in
it.
the hallway.
Yeah, and that was funny. He punched him. He's like, "Oh, you guilt punched me." It's so good.
Yeah, you guilt punched me.
Guilt punched. But that part where A Train tells him, he's like, "Dude, Homelander's a great guy, but you so far up his ass is pretty disgusting," or whatever he said to him. But no, it's actually A Train. He's the one that's so far up Homelander's ass. It ain't even funny.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was talking about.
But he told the Deep that. But no, by the end of the episode, you're like, that A Train, man, he's such a backstabbing little dork. Just because he doesn't, just because he is.
Just say it.
He is.
He is.
And the Deep, now let's also bring it to the Deep. When the Deep, poor Deep, man, when he's such a douche.
When they're sitting there at the meeting,
oh my God,
and his wife's sitting there texting him like,
funny.
You need to say that, and he's like,
now,
yeah.
And then Homelander's like, Deep, that was very smart of you, and he's like, oh, thanks. Thanks for noticing me. But when the Deep, he's talking to A-Train in the hallway again. That's a scene I think everybody's going to overlook this season. But when them two were talking, the Deep says, Homelander, he handpicked me to come back to the Seven, and you're like, no, he didn't. He wanted you back so he could pick at Starlight. He knows how to get under people's skin. He didn't do it for the Deep.
He's so and like. Just like the thing is named, he is diabolical, man. He is diabolical. He is so smart.
So smart.
That he's got a plan for everything.
People underestimate him. People think he's all muscle. Yeah.
That's what scares me about.
Same.
That's what would scare anybody about Homelander as if this was real life, I'd be scared out of my mind, bro.
Oh, I would too.
That, because he is so smart about, I know what's going to get you to mess up, and I also know what's going to get you to do anything that I say, no matter what.
He's such a control freak, and now that we've seen it in the first couple scenes of episode 1, or at least this season, where in season 1 he had it together. Season 2 was when he started to break a little bit. Season 3, now we're seeing some everything's being taken from him, from Stormfront finally dying, and how great was that? I'm not going to say she was a great person. She was obviously a Nazi bitch, but the way she, what she represented as a character to Homelander, she was a plot device, if you will, to Homelander's psyche. And once that got plucked away, well, Homelander, he's becoming more and more and more unreliant. He's becoming more kind of off the cuff. He's becoming more unstable. And the fact, and dude, again, so much to unpack here. We're not obviously cover everything, but when Stan, when they're at the FBA, is it the FBA, Federal Bureau of Superhuman Affairs, FBSA, whatever it's called, and Vicky gets up and she's giving her a little speech, and she was supposed to say something else about Homelander. We don't know exactly what that was, but then she threw her own.
No, we do. Because Stan and her were talking about earlier. He was like, you need to go up and he needs to get fined and blah, blah, blah. And
because she was like, he would bark, but he ain't going to bite. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and he was like, he needs to stay in line, is what he said to her.
Basically slap him on the wrist,
Slapped him on the wrist, and then...
But she was worried about the safety of her daughter, and then she ended up like, no, I'm going to get on the stand. And I love, dude, Giancarlo Esposito, whether it's Breaking Bad, whether it's The Mandalorian, whether it's The Boys, and Better Call Saul, any other amazing stuff he's in, this actor, he knows how to command a screen, dude. Like,
dude,
he's so good as an actor. And when he's sitting there talking to, dude, their chemistry together, just the actor chemistry alone between Homelander, or between Anthony Starr and Giancarlo, is where them two are up in a room with their hands behind their back, or Stan's just drinking his whatever he was drinking, looked good. And Homelander talking, that just such a good scene where he's like, you're not a god. You don't deserve my respect. You're just simply a bad product, or whatever he said. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I felt it.
Yeah.
And he is not scared of him. He's not scared.
He's as much of he said basically he was a disappointment to himself.
Right.
That's basically what he said to
he doesn't care. I mean, but Homelander he was reading his vitals, right? And he's like, you're not even scared.
This left a lot of things unanswered too. And which is good, which I want to get into probably on the next spoiler, which would be like what she gave her daughter, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I feel like that's something.
This episode, I want to talk about something really quick. I want to talk about good old Huey and Butcher, and them.
Love their chemistry together,
and everybody else, Kamiko, Frenchie, and Mother's Milk. Like, I want to talk about all that, because their plot line through this
was important for this episode
as well. It was great. It was so great.
Infiltrating the Russian compound.
So hear me out. I know we're jumping around and all that.
That's fine.
So one of my favorite things was when Huey comes up to him, and this is after, Homelander writes best.
Oh my God. It's such a, like,
oh God.
I expected to read.
you
Oh,
to like, you know
that's
what
what
I
I was
mean?
about to say. I expected it to say "fuck you," comma Homelander.
Yeah.
Like I expected
Yeah.
to see that, but
Right, right.
just best
So
Homelander. It's so good, so good.
right. So but this was after that, and he comes up to him and he's just like so wanting to, because he's the only one that knows that Butcher has used this so far, right? And he's like, please just let me have it. You know what I mean? Like
Yep,
I'm so mad I can't breathe.
yep.
And how many of us have
Crazy
been that
thing.
mad before? Do you know what I mean? Or
Like
that
I need
upset
to
about
do
something.
something about something, but I can't.
Correct. And I
Yeah,
can't. And this will help me.
right.
And then, you know, for us to go in, see them go into this Russian thing, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, well, this is going to go wrong. I knew it was, I was like, so, and then, Frenchie's like, hey, look, they got something. It's that
Yeah.
rat.
Oh my
Bro,
God, that
that's another way they killed somebody that I was like,
another
this
way.
is amazing.
Once you seen it, it was kind of
Yeah,
blurry in the background. My wife,
yeah,
she just started laughing and it just went
it
in that
was
guy's
great.
eye.
It was great. It was
It's so
great.
good.
So, but, and then all of a sudden, Huey, like, just comes out of his clothes. I
Dude,
didn't expect that.
I didn't
I was
either.
like, what? Because you
But
don't see him. You don't see him
you
taking it.
knew
You don't
he
see him what
took the
yeah,
V.
oh, and
Yeah. You
I
just
knew
knew.
immediately. I
You're like,
was
yep,
like,
he stole it.
"Oh."
Yep.
And I was like, "Oh, Butcher's gonna be super mad."
By the way, and I want to still talk about this, but by the way, it confirmed. Well, I'm not gonna say confirmed. It it's making us rethink what we had. It proved us wrong. What we thought in our episode 1, 2, and 3 spoiler discussion, where we said, "Dude, is this artificial V? Is that? Well, I guess it's all artificial, but is this new temp V? I guess is what's called or whatever." Um, we thought, oh, does it only give you super strength and laser eyes? Because if so, that would be kind of
Oh,
boring.
but
Nope.
it does confirm our suspicions where we were, or not suspicions, but our,
Right.
like, guesstimation of or
Who
whatever,
would
our prediction of being like, you know how
if
cool it would be
if
if
yeah.
people got different ones?
Different
Oh
powers.
my
Yeah.
god.
And
Oh
that
my god.
confirmed it. That now does Huey have super speed or does he teleport? Because that I don't think they really made that
I don't know
clear.
what it was.
See, I asked
No,
my
no, no.
wife too. I said, did he have super speed or did he teleport? She thinks that he teleported because if you look at his clothes just dropped. And
Yeah.
then he jumped right in front of that man and
Well,
he
see,
impaled him with his
I
arm.
was like, he could either do that or it was the termite thing, the termite guy that just he goes. I
Right.
don't know, I don't know.
I don't know.
But but also here's where I was trying to get at with the whole Huey taking it though.
Right.
Did you see at the end where, like, towards the end, whenever they're in the van and
Oh,
all
he's got
that,
his arm at the window.
And Huey's just
Yep.
out the window doing. How much you want to bet he gets addicted to V? Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Maybe he
it's
fights
like that.
Butcher. Yeah, I
You get
think
what I
they
mean?
could.
Because I think it will
Yeah,
affect him differently because he wants oh man,
and that smirk on his face.
hold on, such a great line. I don't want to forget this because I have it in my head. Such a great line is whenever Butcher looks at him and he goes, "Hey kid," he was like, "This isn't power, this is punishment, and you don't
Punishment.
deserve that."
Love that line.
And he said that's exactly what he said.
Love that
He
line.
gave me goosebumps, man. And I was
Love
like,
it.
oh, and then he walks out and Huey goes, "But do you deserve it?" And
Mm,
he just doesn't say anything. He closes the door. I was like,
love that scene. So good.
that's a baller line,
It
bro.
was. That's what I'm
Whenever
saying.
he's like, "Hey, this is not power, Huey. This is
It's
punishment."
punishment, and you don't deserve it. And
Oh,
the way
love
Carl Urban, the way like he can come off as really cocky, and we know how Carl Urban is in this show. That's how the character's written, right? Is this kind of cocky jerk off, kind of just a real douche, right? Almost like Homelander, but not like to that extent, right? Just the douchiness of Homelander, and he's just very standoffish. But he once he can bring that sincerity and that compassion to Huey, dude, it gets me every time. I'm like, he loves that boy,
it.
and
Yeah,
he loves his team. I mean, and when Marvin, I think I've said this before, but Marvin, Mother's Milk, whatever you want to call him, he's my favorite character in the show so far. I don't know why. I just love that character. And if he dies, I'll be very upset. But I love that line where he tells You brought a good line. I thought about that line while you were saying that. With what he told Butcher was, "Look, I can handle chain of command, but this just got to stop. Like you're out of control." And I love that because Marvin's kind of that, bring
Just like whenever they were
back down to earth.
in the van again,
Yes,
and
when he's
he's like
trying to
sitting there, and Butcher's just going over everything, and he was like, "Well, what do you
right.
think about blah blah blah?" And he looks up at Butcher, and it's like,
He's like, "Really?
"Man, it's not the
We got
time.
one of
Like,
your men's
it's
down."
over." He's like, "It's
Yeah,
over." You know what I mean?
one of your men's down, and
So
you're thinking about the next thing. It's like, yeah, the mission needs to go on for sure, but let's
because he's
tend to
thinking
our
about,
yeah,
he's thinking about Soldier Boy and when they
right.
can get, and it's
Eh,
like,
but just with
it's
the
like
look,
Kimiko,
yeah,
who is never hurt ever, and we can talk
not
about
that
that.
long. Yeah,
She
she
can
hasn't been hurt
never.
that
But
long.
I want to know,
Right.
do you think he's going to get addicted to beat? I want to know what you
Oh,
think
with Huey.
before I go on to the.
So I think there is something there. I think they've planted seeds for, look, by the end of this thing, they're obviously setting up a war. I mean, we got some Maeve action finally. We got some Maeve
Yeah, I know,
in there,
man.
and I think she's great. I think that's a great, amazing character, dude. Especially from the plane scene forward, I've loved Maeve. Like, I love that character, and we seen her a little bit in the first couple episodes. Again, kind of how I said about A Train took a backseat during season 2. I think Maeve. I don't think Maeve's going to make it by the end of the season because she even tells Starlight, she's like, "Look, you know, I'm training because this weapon, it might not work. I might get a few licks in, but he'll kill me and he'll kill everyone else. But at least I'll get
Hmm.
a few shots in." And I love that. I love that
Yeah,
line. But yeah, I do think there is something there where Huey is. And before I say that, like I said, I think everybody's going to end up taking V. I think Kamiko's not making it out. I think she's gone, and I do want to talk about Kamiko. I'm kind of saving her for the last bit because I think
yeah.
she was my
That's me too.
second.
That's
Okay,
why I was
okay,
like, I
we'll talk
want
about Kamiko, but I think French is going to take it. I think Marvin's going to take it, and between them two, I think Marvin's going to have the most dumbest power. I
to.
really do. But they're obviously, dude, could you imagine Starlight, the Deep? I would say the Deep would be willing to help fight Homelander. The Deep, Maeve, Huey, Butcher, all these people fighting Homelander, dude, that would be pretty dope. Imagine like a Avengers level type. I'm not gonna say it's gonna have the same budget, but imagine that, how the MCU does their big fights, whether it's the Civil War airport battle or the Infinity War battle on Wakanda. I'm not saying it's going to be that big, but I could see a fight where Homelander. I mean, we got a little bit of that when the three girls fought Stormfront, which I thought was amazing scene. I think we might be seeing that with Homelander, but yeah, I do think there is something with Huey to, because this is what he's complained about for the past 3 seasons. He's complained about, look, I'm tired of, it started with the first scene where A Train runs over his girlfriend. He's like, I can't help but feel helpless. And now that I have a chance to do something about it, what are you or who are you to say that I can't take this, that I can't help? And what makes you so deserving? What makes you feel like you're in control of who or cannot take this? But you do see it from Butcher's point of view is, look, kid, I know you. You don't need it. This is punishment. Like you said, this is punishment. It's not power. It's not reward. I don't want this. But, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be me. And I kind of feel that and I respect that, but I also see what he was going with it too. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see a Huey / Butcher kind of conflict moving forward.
I don't think it's gonna be this season though.
You think it
There's
might?
3 episodes left. I think that it's setting up for something to happen maybe next season.
See, I think
You know
that
what
I
I
think
mean?
something that's gonna, and I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. I'm pretty much on the same boat with you because I think they're focusing too much on, and I mean this in a good way. I think they're focusing too much on Homelander, but that leads into a question: where do you go after Homelander? It's kind of like, I don't know. I
You
like,
go to your second best uh second best character on there, which like fan favorite would be Huey. Do you get what I'm saying?
true.
Why not? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that I'm just saying
Right. Right.
like it may not be your second favorite, but mainly
Right.
That's a lot of people's second
Oh
favorite
yeah, for
character.
sure.
You get what I'm saying?
And I've said before,
So
Huey's not my favorite character. I'm not saying I don't like the character, but there are other characters that I find more compelling than Huey. But
yeah, I
Huey,
get that, man. But
right.
like whenever it comes to storyline, like
Oh yeah, it's from his
that's
point of view. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's been with him ever since the beginning for sure. But
right.
I could see that moving forward. But like you said at the beginning of the video, we just got a season 4 announcement. I mean, we still have the rest of this season and we have season 4, and it looks like they're coming to conclusion of Homelander part. Like I'm 50-50. Half of me saying Homelander's dead by the end of the season or badly injured. It's either dead or badly injured, or the other side of me is going, no, they're still gonna lose. But how
You know
much
what I
can the
think
good guys
happens?
keep losing? What's
They
that?
make him human.
Bruh. You just made me think of something. What if that stuff, now we can go ahead and segue into Vicky and her daughter. What if that stuff she was giving her was was to, like, kind of like how Multiverse of Madness, where he had the sands of whatever that made
Mhm.
him powerless. What if that makes you human? Because we've seen it like torn. Did you like cringe, by the way? I
Yeah,
mean, I
bro.
have kids. I know you have a kid. That
Yeah, dude.
dude,
That kind
that
of got to me. I was
imagine
like, and like
doing,
she's sitting there crying and holding her crying. And
dude.
I've been there though. You know that I've
Same.
been there.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Like, but
That
like I mean like in
right.
a hospital, been there
Yeah.
crying, not
Right.
knowing whether they're gonna make it or not type deal. So
Right.
it's like that was like I was like, "Ooh, this is kind of rough. Okay, can we go to the next
Yeah.
scene?"
It's
You know
like,
what I mean?
ooh,
Like, let's go.
oh, it made you feel uncomfortable, but I think it's by design, and I think it was for a reason. I think it was
I
a
do too.
great scene. I think it was
But
a beautiful scene. But
I'm telling you, I think that either by the end of the season, Homelander's either dead or he's turned human, which would be
that's pretty
awesome.
dope. That
Which would be
oh, they
awesome.
make him powerless. That would, I
And
think,
then
be
Huey
better.
next season becomes a not villain, but well, yeah, villain, but it's because he's
Antagonist.
hooked on
Yeah.
V and he becomes a, you know what I mean?
I could see the boys doing something like that. I really could. I'm
And
not
making it good though.
right.
But they could do it, you know what I
Right.
mean?
I'm not I mean, I wouldn't fall on my chair if they did that, because I think it's something the boys would do. But
Mhm.
ask me in a couple episodes and I might be on board. But right now I can
Hey,
see
look,
it.
that's why we
I
do
can
this.
see it.
This is my prediction, homie.
Oh
Like
yeah, no, for sure.
you can have your own, man.
Right. But going back to what Vicky was giving her daughter, is we're not entirely clear what that was. They did make us on purpose see what color it was. Wasn't it like blue or purple or something? Was it
It was
green?
blue. It
It
was
was blue.
blue.
Okay, so it's blue. So
It was
we
blue.
do not do know that.
So it
Do we?
definitely wasn't V.
No, it wasn't V. But do we remember what the V looked like in season 1, where you found out that the soups were actually genetically created? Didn't
No,
we
I'd
get a
have to go back
color?
and look
See, I
at it.
can't
I don't
remember.
remember.
But if it's blue, then I
She's
mean,
making her a soup.
making her soup, or I think she's depowering her. I think that's what they're
But what
making.
if she's not? What if
Maybe
she
she's
is
not,
powering her up because
because
she's
you heard it
afraid
doing something
of
to her back, like it was like
right
constricting her,
breaking
and
her bones or something? But
oh,
it
dude,
felt. But my whole thing is like maybe she is making her a soup so that Homelander can't kill her. Technically, you know what I mean? Or she can at least be protected a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
right?
I don't
Did
know.
did you did you and your I want to know what went through your head in the scene where Vicky's upstairs and Homelander pops up in the bathroom and he's holding up that tampon. He's like, a heavy flow day or whatever. But that same scene where they're talking and she's like, "Can we make this quick?" And he's like, "You thinking about popping my head?" He's like, "Why don't you go ahead and give it a shot? Give it a whirl."
He was like, we don't know. We don't know
We
what's
don't
going to
know.
happen.
And did it go through your head where I'm like, "Do it, try, do it." Like, I
No,
want to
because
see what happens.
I was like, this would be a short-lived little show, man. If I think that they
Well,
would put it on.
no, we knew it wouldn't
No,
happen.
what
But
that's what was going through my head. You asked what was going through my head. I was like, man, like
or you
if
think
they
so? You
do
think she could
this,
do it?
oh yeah.
See,
I just think that
I don't think
no
she's
no
that
no.
powerful.
I uh, I think that she could
Uh,
do it. Okay. but I think that there's something in it for her, and that's why she doesn't do it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's what
Well, that
that's why I
Stan
was
and
just like,
Homelander connection probably.
correct, and that's
Yeah.
why I was like, oh, I was like, dude, I think she could do it, but I don't think she there's too much in
Oh,
it for her in order for her to do it.
part of that in my
So
head. I was like,
that
"Ugh,
being
damn it."
said, let's
The
transfer into
yes,
the Kimiko storyline.
dude. Like I said at the beginning of
Um,
the video, Kimiko was my second. I'm not gonna say she's my second or first favorite, but she was Homelander was a standout, and Kimiko was a standout. A lot of other
mm,
great parts. Like I said, the show was riveting through and through from start to finish. It was awesome. How great was that open? By the way, just real quick, how great was that opening little ad for Soldier Boy? That kind of 80s like.
yeah, dude,
I
yeah.
love the little ads that they just throw in there. It's great.
Bro, I remember waking up to
So
those
good.
whenever I was a little
Oh
kid,
yeah,
man.
you go to
To those
sleep and
infomercials at night, and
you'd
then it'd
wake
be
up to.
like 20 times louder than what you were watching before.
You're like, what the hell? You get up and you're like, what in the world? That was hilarious. But through and through, this episode was riveting. That's the only word that I could use to describe this show. It was riveting. Every single scene, every single shot, every single line of dialogue, I ate up. Two favorite things: Homelander, Kimiko. Talked about Homelander. We know that was great and everything, and can't wait to see what happens in episode 5 for sure. Kimiko, though. Kimiko,
Hey, who
they,
knew how hot she was, bro?
dude, she
Bro, she came out in
looked
that dress. I was like, wait,
amazing.
what?
Looked
Say, what
amazing.
just happened, bro?
She looks she looks great and a beautiful human being for sure.
Yeah, yeah, man.
And that scene where I mean they've kind of hinted at it already. I mean, you could argue that yeah, they've hinted at it through, the back half of season 1 and season 2, but they're really delving in hard on her. She doesn't like doing what she's doing. She doesn't like being that
At
weapon that
all.
Butcher calls her. She doesn't like killing. We seen it at the Russian compound where she snapped that guy's neck and the camera holds on her face for just a second. And she's just, that look of disappointment, like
Just
I
like,
got to save my
I
team,
literally,
but
yeah.
I really hate doing this. And she's taking her time and that, and the way the girls at that Russian mansion, where she's in there, she takes that guy out, and all those girls are fearing her. They pop her in the head, and my wife's like, she's all right, she'll go back up, because we've seen her do that before. She was like, she's fine, and then she gets back up, and those girls are horrified, super terrified of her,
And she's
and it's
standing
like,
there like, no, like, wait, hold on.
but she
Like,
can't speak. There's something in her that she can't.
I know, but
I
she's
would.
standing there like
Right.
this, like,
But she can't help it. And at this point, and maybe I should have really thought this 2 seasons ago, but I legitimately think she can't speak. I think there's something wrong with her that she cannot speak. But I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe she'll butt out.
no, I
I
think she can't though.
I kind of
I think that she can't. I think it's a mute character, and that's
see. I
what
think
it's
it
supposed to
is,
be.
and the way she
Um,
sign with the sign language to Frenchie, I think is really cute
right.
um
Yeah.
and really um
But
special for the character.
me too. And I think that on that note, whenever you're talking about her being in the Russian thing and them shooting her in the head, I
Mm,
think that that's foreshadowing. And just hear me out. So whenever they shoot her in the head, and it just, that she's going to get up, right? Because bullet comes out, whatever.
right.
But that shows that even shooting her in the brain, she can't be hurt. So at the very end, whenever all that stuff happens with Soldier
Shows
Boy,
are going down
you're
twice
like,
this episode.
holy crap,
What did he do?
what did he do? Like, what does he
What is
have?
that?
What's going on? Like, because
He's more
she's
than just
hurt.
super strength. He's obviously
She's
got some kind of, what's that? What's Cyclops' brother in the X-Men, the first class movies? Was it
um
Havoc? It's kind of like Havoc,
havoc.
where he's like, nah, and then the
Yeah,
beam comes out of his chest. I kind of got some Havoc vibes from that, but I
but
think you're right. I think they showed her going down twice in one episode, and I don't think that's by coincidence. I think that was
I
by
don't think it is.
design,
Uh,
because the first time they popped her in the head, she gets right back up, no problem. The end of
That's
the
what I'm
episode, she
saying.
goes
It's like,
down,
oh,
but
she
she
can't die.
stayed down. But I think they wanted to remind audiences, hey, remember, this is an invincible character,
But that's what I was saying. That's exactly
Right.
what I was saying.
Right.
It's
But
like
at the end
that's
of the
why they shot
episode,
her in the
oh
head at the
yeah,
very beginning,
because
is
they
to
wanted to
say,
show
oh,
you.
they wanted to make sure
They'll be
that you
like,
knew that, like,
remember how
hey,
she could get back up? Yeah.
even if she gets, shot in the head, she's getting back up. And then you see her with this, and you're like, oh, she'll just get
Oh,
up.
she's
And then
fine.
you're just
But
like,
Frenchie's like, she's not healing, guys. She's not healing. And
yeah.
then you're like, well, what the crap
And then
was
Mother's Milk,
that?
Marvin says, hey, like, that ain't no Soldier Boy that I seen. He
Mm-mm.
didn't do stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
So you're like,
they've definitely
wait,
done
what?
something to him.
I
The
think it was
Russians have done
Butcher. I think
something.
it was Butcher that said that because Marvin's real. Like, Marvin can't
Oh,
believe
one
he's
of them.
alive.
One of them said it. I know. One of them was
Yeah.
like, that ain't no.
Butcher said that. He was like that because that's when, because Billy's just like, what's our next move? And that's when Marvin's like, dude, like, seriously, we're over here trying to, like, for real. So yeah, there's obviously going to be a confrontation between Marvin and Soldier Boy. And I think there's more to it. They've obviously set that up. I think there's going to be more to it. I think the writing has been too good to ignore, and for there to just breeze over Marvin's family. According to Marvin, got killed by Soldier Boy. At least it
Right.
was on his watch. So
Yeah.
I think they're going to touch on that again. I think it's not all what it set out to be. I think there's more to it. I think there's going to be more. Who knows? Maybe Soldier Boy did it and he meant to do it and all that kind of stuff. Maybe, for sure. We don't know. We're going to see. But I do think that there is going to be a interesting confrontation. Like I said, Marvin's my favorite character so far. So I don't know. We'll
But
just have to see.
unfortunately, I think a lot of it was focused on Kamiko today, and I think that
Oh, she ain't
I'll be
making another
honest with you,
season.
man. I don't think she's making it.
And I think, I said
don't.
that in the first couple episodes. Well, during our spoiler discussion for the 3 is, I said, look, and I think I asked you, I was like, do you think Kamiko's going to make it through the season? And you were like, well, I don't know. She's kind of invincible, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. We'll just have to wait and see. And this
But now,
episode,
but this
again,
episode put me over. I was like, yeah, no,
oh,
she ain't
dude,
making it.
when
No.
more that brings up an important thing. When more information comes out, we have the right to change our opinions based on new information. So that being said, Wes, do you have any last thoughts, man, on the episode? I feel like we've kind of
Nah, man, this
went
episode
nuts.
has been amazing. I know that you guys can tell that we're super excited about it. We love the boys. I love the boys. If you're not watching it, like, you should. I had a buddy of mine this past week, like, say, "Oh, I just didn't think that I'd really be into it. I thought that it was just like a CW show." And I said, "Go watch the first episode, and I want you to text me after." Dude, he texted me and was like, "I haven't stopped watching. I'm still watching now." And I said, "Exactly." I was like, "I don't know what you're doing with your life, but this needs to be part of it."
Hilarious.
So,
And I feel like pulling up, I'm not going to do it, but I feel like pulling it up on my phone just to show you. And I forgot to tell you this over the weekend, but I have a follower on TikTok, which you can find me at Voice of Film here on TikTok and Twitter. But on TikTok, I had posted a video about the boys spinoff, live action spinoff a couple months ago. Long story short, I was talking about that, and it can go on the free page and whatnot. Well, one of my followers, he commented on that video and was like, "So I finally gave the boys a shot. I'm addicted." And I read that
yeah.
message today, and I was like, "You can't stop." I did a video reply. I said, "Oh, you can't stop there. Tell me what you thought. You can't just say, oh, I watched the boys." Like, I was like, look, I'm giving you a hard time, but don't stop at I watched the boys. I want to know your favorite character. I want to know
Oh, dude.
I want to know
It's
how
one of
far
my-
you are. Did you watch
Yeah,
season
dude.
1? Did you watch the first couple episodes? Are you caught up to season 3? I want to know more. You can't stop it. Oh yeah, I watched the boys. Like,
Yeah, it was one of
what?
my customers, man. I was like, "You haven't watched The Boys yet?"
Watch the
I was
boys.
like, what is wrong with you?" I was
Not
like,
for
"It was
everybody. Not for
no,
everybody.
but it's for him. Trust me,
Oh,
because I know
gotcha.
him." I said, "Yo," I was like,
Yo, you're
"You
gonna
have
like it.
to
Yeah.
watch this." And I was like, "I want you just to watch the." I was like, he was like, "Man, I thought it was like one of those, dumb CW shows."
Oh my god.
That's what he said, and I
That's
was like,
crazy. CW. The boys
"OMG,
is a
bro!"
lot of things. CW is not one of them.
And I said, "No, bro." I was like,
No.
"Within the first 15 minutes, I want you to text me." He
Oh my
texted me. He
god.
was like,
Yeah.
"OMG."
Yeah.
He was like, I don't even know what to say right now. And I was like, exactly. I was like, keep watching. Let me know what you think whenever I come over there next week.
You know who I'm talking about, but I work with someone who
Yeah.
I just got into watching The Boys about 2 weeks ago. She said, "Look, I'll watch the first episode because I, like you said, I know her and I know her sensibilities." So I was like,
Right.
"I think you would
Exactly.
like The Boys. Give it a shot." She was like, "Okay." She came into work next day. She was like, "Yeah, I watched the first episode. I thought it was really good." I'm like, "Okay, cool, great. That means you're gonna love because that episode 1, that's all of The Boys. Like if you like that, you're gonna love it all." She's like, "Okay, I'll get around to it when I get a chance. Right? No problem." She texted me last night. She said, "I just binged the rest of season 1 with my boyfriend, and we cannot stop. Please help us." And I'm like, "Oh my God, yeah." So, dude, Wes, you and I are doing the Lord's work at spreading the
Yes.
gospel of The Boys. We just
That's
got
it.
3
Hey, we
people.
got to, man.
Dude, we are spreading the gospel, and you know what? I'm excited. I know this video ran kind of long. I do apologize. Wes and I do not mean for these videos to go long, but dude, they're so, and we obviously didn't talk about everything in this episode. It was great. RIP Sonic Driver Boom. What's his name? Sonic Boom.
Oh my God.
Super
Supersonic,
Driver,
Holmes.
Supersonic. RIP. Such a nice young man. Oh God, yeah. RIP. Horrible death, by the way. I mean, we obviously didn't talk about everything, but this episode was great. Like I said, oh my God, how do you
I think
top
we
this
talked about
episode?
most of the main points,
Yeah,
man.
most of
So
the main
it's
points,
one of
all of our
those.
likes, and we actually, I think, I mean, I said I didn't
But the
have any
best part
dislikes.
is like we didn't talk about this before, so this is us like just
Oh
spilling
yeah,
out
we
with
were
each
just blah
other.
blah blah.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I think this has actually been one of the best episodes and smoothest episodes we've had. So I'm
Oh,
pretty
dude,
stoked about it, to
this
be
has been
honest.
so fun, and I do appreciate you guys. I had several followers over the past subscribers over the past couple of days, so for that we appreciate it. Got a lot more content coming out. No more vacations, no more weddings, no more anything coming up. We do have Father's Day weekend coming up
I got a
this next
wedding.
weekend. You're kidding?
I got a wedding I got to be in July the 4th, but
That's okay. We'll find time. We'll
we'll
find time.
find time.
It'll be all
We'll
right.
do it.
We will make plenty of content this week. Be sure to check us out. Wes, but while we sign off, where can people find you?
You guys can find me at West Rathbone 86 right here somewhere. Yeah, I'm one of those. That's on Twitter. Please follow. And guys, thank you so much for watching, subscribing. Just continue to do that. Comment. Let us know your favorite part on this episode. So we appreciate y'all so much. And Gabe, let them know where they can find you again because you plugged yourself already.
Already shameless plug. All right, you can find me simply at Voice of Film here, like I said, on TikTok and Twitter. And like you said, we've had a couple people come out and watch our videos. We know we don't have that many, but look, it's just two best friends getting together, talking about what we love in the entertainment industry, movies, streaming. And I did have a comment that I wanted to bring up just right quick, Wes, that somebody was like, "You sure don't have a lot of movie reviews." Well, guess what? The theater around where I live only stays open like 2 days during the week. So, in the theater that I go to is about an hour away. Once you have five kids, once you have 3 kids and a wife, it's kind of hard to break away and drive and make a 2-hour round trip to the movies. Once our theater becomes open more regular, we will put out more movies. We are going to watch, big, we missed Top Gun Maverick, been quite busy. We missed West seen Jurassic World. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
It is. It's one of
Different
those things, man. Like we both have stuff going on.
Right.
We also live in a very rural area.
Yes, we do.
And my kid has health issues that I really can't go out sometimes because of his health issues. So we apologize, man. Like we want to go out and we want to do these things, but like sometimes, I mean, my kid is my life and his kids are his life. And, I love his kids.
Right.
He loves mine. So it's just one of those where, we want to get out. We want to do these film reviews and stuff, and we are going to. But
I mean, we got a busy week,
and
that's what I was going to say. And we have a huge busy week. We got Miss Marvel, we got Obi-Wan, we got The Boys again coming out this week. We got so much to talk about, and obviously there's going to be a lot of movie news to talk about this week for sure. So there will be some movie content on here. We just it's just been, it's been hard, but you know what, we do what we can. It's our channel. We thought we'd whip it out, and oh God, interpret that how you wish. We thought we would come out and show you guys. And show you guys.
Do that, bro.
No, I'm leaving it. And just to show you guys. and just show you guys how much you guys appreciate us. And like I said, even though there's not any movies, we are going to talk, entertainment news, fandom related content, and all that sorts of good stuff. As always, again, you got Wes. You can find him, at Westbone 80, Wes Rathbone 86. I butchered that.
Really bad.
Fuck it. At Voice of Film, you can find me on TikTok and Twitter. Be sure to check us out there. That's been Wes. I've been Gabriel, and we have been the usual skeptics. We will see y'all in the next video.